Yeah,
because we've
that's true.
got
Because we got a ton.
we yeah. I was a little surprised at how many we've got.
I was worried. I had to double check the list like 5 or 6 times just to make sure we got everybody on there.
Yeah.
What was I?
Let's see.
Oh yeah, I need to go to Twitter. I should have had this done already.
Um, Let me copy this and share it to the Facebook. I enjoyed the top five lists.
Yeah, that was a fun
I
show to do.
I hate I couldn't get the very end, but
Oh, that's okay.
that book.
Tweet. There we go. It's a goal. It's a goal.
Oh yeah, I gotta update all the header graphics for our show for with the new showtime.
Oh yeah, because it still says what Tuesdays.
Well, on Facebook it says Wednesdays, but
Oh
I
okay.
just need to change it to Thursdays. Let's
Yeah, I think
see.
on the website, the header I have on the website still says Tuesdays at 7:30.
Okay. Well, if you let me know the dimensions, I'll make a new one.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the dimensions are. It doesn't say. I mean, it says, but when you put it up there, it doesn't fit. So I don't know exactly what dimensions. I can. I think I could send you the login if you don't have it for WordPress.
Okay.
If I have it, if I remember it. I don't know if I have it written down anywhere. It's been so damn long. I just stay logged in for the last 4
Yeah.
years.
That's what I do with most of mine, and then if I ever like get kicked out, I just change the password.
Yeah, same here.
Games we've
Dude, last week
played
somebody was
this.
trying hard to get into my Yahoo Mail, and I never use. That's my dead email that pretty much I use whenever I go to some website that's like, put in your email. I'll put in that email address. It's just the
Yeah.
email that I never use, and somebody kept trying hard to get into it. I'm like, I got two-factor authentication, idiot. Why do you keep trying to get into it?
People got to try.
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's see, share that. And then close that out. Do, do, do. By the way, I have a follow up to the KFC story that Rampage sent.
Okay.
I'm going to
uh,
save it for the show, though.
for my Christmas game this year, I had it on my wish list on the Switch. It finally went on sale. The remaster of Resident Evil 1. So
Oh, cool.
I think I'm gonna buy that tonight, later on, and I'll
Yeah,
revert back.
I got a $50 gift card to the eShop.
Oh, that's cool.
So, got to figure out what to spend that on.
Yeah, I got my free
I wish
five
they
bucks the other day from GameStop and got Among Us, so I still need to play that. I tried to look up the rules, and I'm like, I'm gonna need some friends to play this with because I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I still need to get it. And then I think I've got all. No, I gotta open this last one.
Um,
Oh, I did watch the. I watched the Nintendo World Direct.
oh yeah, 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 I did
Finally.
too. So good. I want to go so bad. But at least he said that they're gonna build one in Orlando, so I'm like, all right.
Well, I was there on Monday, and I was just looking around, like, where can they put this?
They got plenty
And
of
why is?
room, so
Yeah. My thought was they might replace Marvel because
yeah,
it's weird now seeing all the Marvel stuff at Universal, knowing that Disney owns it.
yeah, I know. Um, I don't know. The Islands of Adventure would be the perfect spot for it to go. And if they did eventually, because I don't know when that Wally would know this when that contract runs out for them to have the theme park rights to the Marvel stuff. Like that would be the perfect spot to put
Yeah,
Super Nintendo World, because that's a lot of space. All that Marvel
that's
stuff,
exactly what I was thinking.
like even bigger than Japan. Like it would be 2 or 3 times the size of the Japan one. Like they could have Zelda World and Metroid World, and all the cool stuff.
Just give me Hyrule.
Yeah, I'm
Give me
down.
Hyrule, man.
And when you
You
walk
would have
in, it has to be a cave to before you walk in. And as soon as you walk in, there's a guy there that says it's dangerous to go alone. Takes
alone.
this and gives you like a little plastic sword that you take into the park with you.
Oh my god. Just I imagine walking into it and then hearing an orchestrated version of the Hyrule theme. I would probably cry.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't do that, like you're totally missing an opportunity to immerse people into like that world.
Yeah, for sure.
And since they do Super Mario Land or Mario World or whatever, then they should do the Link to the Past style Zelda world.
Oh my god. You're gonna throw me off before we even start the
I
show.
know.
That's all I'm gonna be thinking about.
Well, I'm pretty much ready to go if you are.
Yep. Let me start recording on my end, and I've got all the tabs open,
All
so
right.
I'm good to go, sir.
Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me close this out. All right. Now I'm good. All right. 3, 2, 1. Do you like the show and you want to help support us? Do you want us to stay ad-free? Do you want extra episodes every month? Of course you do. Then head over to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro and become a Patreon supporter of this very show. Of course. That's what you got to do. I'm vamping because I can't get my volume to go down. There we go. Of course, it wouldn't be the end of 2020 if I didn't have some sort of soundbar mess up. Greetings, programs, and welcome to the Nerd Cave Retro Show. My name is Jason Robbins.
And my name is Derek Diamond.
Soundbar. How I love you so.
There had to be one last little glitch
Yeah.
before we move on to 2021.
We were talking before we started here about Super Mario World. The Nintendo Switch dropped earlier this week with Shigeru Miyamoto doing a walkthrough of the Super Mario World in Japan. And holy crap, I want to go so bad. I want to go so bad.
It looks like everything that the childhood version of you would want in a Nintendo theme park. Like I literally felt like a kid again when I was watching that direct.
Oh man, I just want. We were talking about too, like what is, because he did let it slip that they're gonna build one in Orlando, and I know that our official fact checker Wally Phelps would know this information, but I don't know when the contract runs out for Universal with the Marvel stuff that they have in Islands of Adventure. But if once that contract runs out, that's a lot of empty space they would have at Islands of Adventure to be able to not only put a Super Mario World, but also a Zelda land. And wouldn't it be awesome if to enter Zelda World, you would have to walk into a cave, and the cave is the entrance, and there's an old man sitting there, and he says, "It's dangerous to go alone. Take this," and you get this little sword that you take into the Zelda World with you that interacts with certain things. Like that would be awesome.
If you do that and then you walk out into Hyrule and you hear an orchestra version of the main Zelda theme, I will be completely honest, I would cry. I would
think I would
absolutely
too.
cry if that happened.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that's like just imagine the possibility of that is amazing. And I feel like a Nintendo theme park is way overdue because we've got Marvel, Harry Potter has one. So why not Nintendo? Nintendo's been around for so long. It needs to happen, and it's gonna happen in Japan, and eventually it will happen here.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to be patient with it, but I think it's gonna be well worth the wait.
Well, you've got Nintendo, which is pretty much as big as Disney at this point as far as recognition. The Mario franchise is the biggest video game franchise ever. He's just as recognizable as Mickey Mouse. So why not have an entire theme park based on Nintendo properties? It makes sense.
Yeah. What would you do for Zelda themed attractions?
Um, let's see. Well, you could have a little boating area where you could do like kind of a Wind Waker type of thing. Of course, you could have the Link to the Past where um, I don't know what the attractions would actually be. Like you could have the little different areas. Like you have like the desert area where you could have like some sort of a like a roller coaster, and then you have the water area with like a log flume or something like that. Just different areas of the map that would represent different kind of rides for that area. You have the mountain
Because that
area at the north part of the of the map and all that kind of stuff.
because I was trying to think of other attractions for the different Nintendo properties, like Mario Kart, automatic, like you gotta have it.
Oh yeah.
I think a Donkey Kong themed roller coaster would be amazing, especially if you're like in a barrel and you're going through the jungle. That
Yes.
would be really cool
That would
to
be an
do some type.
awesome roller coaster too.
Oh my god, yes. You could also do, almost like an indoor, not like a roller coaster, but a simulated ride for Metroid, and do
Yeah.
some really cool visuals with, like, Ridley and the space pirates and everything.
I think that would make
But
a good motion ride.
yeah,
Like they
kinda
could take
like the,
yeah, they could
like
take
the
over
Spider-Man
the
ride from
yeah, that's what I was
Universal.
gonna say. They could take over the Spider-Man ride and just retrofit it to Metroid.
Yeah. But,
Why?
like, Zelda's the thing that it's my favorite Nintendo property, but I was thinking, what kind of attractions could you do for Zelda?
Yeah. I mean, that
That's
would
where
be
I've kinda
more
struggled.
more of just kind of an immersive experience where you're going through the different lands. Like each land could have you could have some delicacies like from you could have a restaurant where you could go get some of the delicacies that Link makes in Breath of the
Breath of the
Wild,
Wild.
like that type of stuff. You could have archery, like archery type things there. Um,
Oh, you could do an archery, like not like a VR game, but kinda like Toy Story Mania, the
yeah,
Buzz Lightyear ride at Disney. You could do something like that with archery. That'd be kinda cool.
yeah. And I was thinking too, what would be cool, like they could do even newer properties. Like they could have an entire arena, sort of like laser tag with based off Splatoon.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that would be fun.
You know they'd have to have something Pokemon related.
Yeah. Well, I would think the whole theme park would be just one big Pokemon Go just hotspot, like
Yeah,
something like that.
absolutely.
By the
No,
time it
it's
got built, they could have like almost like Google Glass, where you could get glasses to put on, and you could actually see the Pokemon like around and try to catch, like have a little Pokeball that you can carry around with you and try to catch them.
if this happens, I will never leave that
Yeah.
park.
Like, why are we
I will
not in
start
charge? We're coming up
I
with the
will
good
start
ideas
doing
here.
I will start doing the show from the park every week because I will not leave.
But yeah, I think with Zelda, you should just have different roller coasters and things like that. Like, I don't know, just like you got the big Zelda's castle in the middle, of course. Just I don't know. Like, I would have to really think about that. Like, what kind of rides you could do for a Zelda themed park?
I'd have to buy a tunic.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, Metroid would totally work for like a motion ride. Donkey Kong makes a great uh, sort of a rail car type of roller coaster with broken parts of the track, but not really. You know.
Yeah.
let's see, what other Nintendo properties could they do? Oh, of course
Let's
they'd have to
see.
have like a little Animal Crossing section.
I actually have a funny Animal Crossing story.
Okay.
So there's a cool store in the mall we have here in town called Box Lunch. It's a chain store, but they sell like nerdy pop culture type stuff. And they have a video game section. But since Thanksgiving, it has been taken over by Animal Crossing merch.
Really?
Yeah, it's like I walk in, the first thing I see is bam, Animal Crossing, and I'm like, I can't escape it.
Well, it's a good game. I mean, actually haven't played it in a few months. Um, but that was probably one of the few. That's definitely the one game that kept me from going crazy earlier this year.
Yeah.
So thank you,
It
Nintendo.
yeah. Yeah, I have a feeling we'll talk about Animal Crossing again here in a bit.
Oh yeah. But if you want to, let's go ahead and go into the news, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
This came from NintendoLife.com. It's a hardware review for Sega Astro City Mini, the esoteric way to mark 60 years in the business. 2020's been a pretty rough year, but Sega is celebrating 60 glorious years in the business. The Astro City Mini is like the Neo Geo Mini, if you've seen that. It's a tabletop arcade machine which comes preloaded with 37 games. It has a built-in LCD screen, a micro switch joystick, and 6 action buttons, imitating perfectly the original Astro City arcade cabinet from back in the day. It's powered via a micro USB, not USB-C, sadly, port on the back, and boasts HDMI out, so you can connect it to your television for 720p gaming goodness. A 3.5 millimeter headphone socket is also included, as are 2 USB-A ports, so you can connect compatible controllers. It is a little bit higher resolution than the Neo Geo Mini. Unfortunately, unlike SNK, Sega has opted to include a screen with a 16:9 ratio, which means during gameplay there are 2 black borders down either side of the image. And honestly, that really doesn't bother me when I'm playing older games, because even the Sega Genesis Mini is like that, with the kind of the borders along the side. But it comes with games Alien Syndrome, Alien Storm, Golden Axe, The Revenge of Death Adder, Columns 2, Dark Edge, let's see, Fantasy Zone, Virtual Fighter, Altered Beast, Sonic Boom, a bunch of other games I've never heard of, Alex Kidd the Lost Stars, Space Harrier, Columns, Crackdown, eSWAT, Puyo Puyo, Shinobi, Wonder Boy 2, and Monsterland, and Wonder Boy 3, Monster Lair. And that's just like half of the games that came on it. But let's see. Does it have the price on here anywhere? I didn't see the price of it. Did you?
I am not. This is actually a really long article.
Yeah, it is. I'm just trying to skim over it a little bit because I wanted to let people know about this. But if you're interested in the Sega Astro City Mini, just go to NintendoLife.com. They got a lot of great pictures of this thing, and it looks really cool. I wouldn't mind actually having one, but it just depends really on how much this thing costs.
Well, I think it's also very important that you can hook this up to your TV
Okay.
because it looks really small.
Yeah.
So it's like that's how I would want to play it is on a TV. Otherwise, I'd feel like I'd break it.
Yeah. And welcome Axblade to the chat room, and he said he had a buddy that bought it and said it was really fun and well made, and it's around $140, he thinks.
Okay.
So it's not bad, but honestly, it's still a little bit out of my price range. I would think it would be a little more less than 100, and then I would go for it, like maybe 80 or 90.
Yeah, 90 was what I was thinking.
Yeah,
But it does have a wide selection,
yeah,
which is good.
it's got a nice little selection of games on here.
So I mean, this looks better than some of the other, similar systems that we've seen that are
Yeah,
made like this.
and it's
So
cool that you could actually, you can hook it up to your TV and use a like a Sega Genesis, I think a USB. you could plug into
Yep.
it and use it sort of as like a Sega Genesis Mini. And speaking of that, it's actually the Genesis Mini is on sale right now on Amazon. It's like $30 off right now. So if you
Oh,
haven't,
well worth it.
yeah, if you haven't picked it up, holy crap, now's the time to get it.
Yeah. I've had so much fun with the Genesis Mini.
So good.
Let's see. Our next story also comes to us from
I
NintendoLife.com.
figured you would like
Capcom.
this one.
I had a feeling you threw this one in there. Capcom shows off more footage of Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. The announcement of Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection certainly came out of the blue. While the franchise was once one of Capcom's most famous efforts, it has fallen by the wayside in recent years, so it was a nice surprise to see the Japanese veteran dust this one off for another adventure. The host of the Japanese Capcom TV channel got a chance to see the game in motion recently, and while we're still not 100% comfortable with the new visual style, it would seem that Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection has lost none of the series' penchant for challenging gameplay. Sure, Arthur can take 3 hits now before he dies, but the level designs appear to be as demanding as ever, calling for pixel perfect jumps and precision attacks. Expect to hurl a few controllers at the wall if you're planning on picking this one up early next year. There's also a YouTube link where you can watch the footage. It's about an hour and 17 minutes into the video.
Mhm.
And there is a screen cap, which, don't get me wrong, the graphics look really good.
It looks
Yeah,
great.
I think it's a great looking game.
Axblade says, Bet Jason is like, no way in hell I'm playing that game. You are absolutely 100% correct, sir.
Yeah, I
I
feel like
mean,
if this is going to be reviewed, I'm going to have to do it.
yeah, I mean, I might play it, but I'm definitely not going to review this thing because I'm probably, I just don't have it in me to play games this hard anymore.
There's a small part of me that wants to do it.
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
not going to lie.
if there's a difficulty level, like if you could do like easy, intermediate, expert, I would probably do it and play it on easy. But if it's just straight like banging your head against the wall like the originals, I'm out.
I don't know if it says exactly when the game is going to come out. It just says early next year, but
Yeah, I imagine in the spring sometime.
yeah. I mean, I might give this a shot. We'll see.
Okay.
I might review it just for entertainment purposes.
Yeah. And here's something from we got a lot of Nintendo Life articles this week. And this came from I Am the Rampage, one of our listeners and regular listeners and Patreon people. This is so weird. This is, it says KFC made a console for some reason. The console war is heating up once again with the addition of a new contender, the KF console. It's not the first time we've seen fast food turning to gaming. We've seen Arby's partner with Cuphead, McDonald's getting into Animal Crossing, and previous KFC stunts have involved a chicken restaurant themed island in New Horizons. The Switch may be great for playing the latest Zelda games, but the KF console includes the world's first built-in chicken chamber to keep your poultry snacks warm and presumably tasting like computer fumes. Can Mario keep your chicken warm? No, he can't. KFC spokesperson Mark Cheevers took the time to issue an offer that / threat to other platforms. If Sony or Microsoft want any tips on how to engineer a chicken chamber for their efforts next time, they'd be welcome to get in touch. What is this? Is this for real?
This might be your next birthday present.
Okay. Yeah, Wally says, "What's the matter, Jason?" Chicken.
Chicken.
No, this is a Wally thing here because he would love to keep his Popeyes warm in the chicken chamber because Wally
I mean,
is
in
a
theory,
lover of. I mean, I love Popeyes too, but I think Wally is a connoisseur of Popeyes chicken.
like, who doesn't love some good old fashioned chicken tenders?
I like chicken, but
Just
I'll be
keep them
honest.
warm. White.
I do not like KFC. I love. Wally said this console was made specifically for Leroy Jenkins. At least I got
Oh
chicken.
man.
It's so weird. So does the chicken chamber act as like a heat sink or something Or like you put in the chicken and it keeps your console from overheating because it soaks up all the heat.
I I couldn't even begin to describe how this works
I'll be
or how
honest.
I would think how this would work.
If you guys want to buy me the KFC console, I will definitely hook it up and play it and use it. Yeah.
Expect it on your doorstep.
Yep, Wally says he would love to sully it by placing Popeyes in it. Now, if Popeyes makes a console, I'm definitely going for it. I want a
Oh, for
Popeyes
sure.
console.
I mean, why not? I mean, if KFC can do it,
Yeah.
why can't Popeyes?
So
I don't know,
weird.
it's weird because it seems like KFC is trying to dabble in other medium. Because have you heard about the KFC movie
Yes, I actually want to see that. Just
with Mario
out
Lopez?
of sheer curiosity, I want to see it.
So I saw this on Facebook a little while ago. For those who don't know, I actually have the article pulled up because I thought this would be a cool little follow up. Mario Lopez stars as KFC's sexy Colonel Sanders in Lifetime mini movie called A Recipe for Seduction. It's a short film that was made specifically for Lifetime. You can look at the poster, and yeah, it's just got him in like a tight white shirt with the gray hair, the mustache, the glasses. Like he's got the Colonel Sanders look.
So
If
weird.
Colonel Sanders went on the keto diet and hit the gym, this is what he would look like.
Yeah. Did you read the title of it? Wally says it's called Recipe for Seduction.
Yep.
No. No. And Axeblade said, got to say, I do want to know more. Honestly, I do too. Like, I want to know more about this KFC console. I just want to know why.
You could play the console after you watch A Recipe for Seduction.
Yeah, but you can't eat chicken and play video games because your controllers will get all greasy. Now, if they have like a controller that's like degreaser for your hands, that would be a good technology to have.
That would be pretty innovative, actually.
Oh, Wally, I'm not even going to read that.
Oh,
You
God.
said, Duncan's, please donut leave me. All right, let's
I like
move on.
X-Blade Seduction. I think it may warrant a roundtable discussion as a bonus episode for Patreons next
I
year.
think so.
We'll review the KF console for
Wow.
Patreons. Or no, that should be the movie we watch for February. Is A Recipe for Seduction.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
I think
we'll move on.
I think this next story came from Myron the Rampage too. I think.
Yeah, let's see. So this is from siliconera.com. I love their little logo
Yeah.
at the top with the dinosaurs and
Yeah.
the joystick.
I love that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Koei Tecmo final appeal and Capcom lawsuit rejected by Supreme Court. Koei Tecmo announced that the Supreme Court of Japan had rejected its final appeal regarding the patent infringement lawsuit filed by Capcom. The final appeal settlement brought a complete closure to the lawsuit, which was filed in 2014. Capcom sued them for infringing a couple of game-related patents owned by the company. The first one involved unlocking more content by reading the disc of a previous game commonly seen in the Extreme Legends expansion of Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors games. The other handled controller rumble to convey information not visible on the player's screen, was used in the Fatal Frame series. Let's see. Koei Tecmo was then ordered by the High Court to pay 143,843,710 yen in compensation to Capcom. However, it sent a final appeal to the Supreme Court of Japan on September 24th, 2019, and they rejected the appeal on December 15th of this year. That's the thing about lawsuits is they can drag for years.
Oh yeah.
As we've seen here. That's why I hope to never be involved with one.
See, I don't really understand what exactly was going on here because it said the first one involved unlocking more content by reading the disc of a previous game, commonly seen in the Extreme Legends expansions of Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors. The other handheld controller rumble to convey information not visible on a player's screen was used in the Fatal Frame series. I don't really understand what exactly was going on with this lawsuit.
Yeah, it doesn't really. I feel like the article doesn't explain it very well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
I'm not
th-
sure.
I like law is not really my area of expertise. The only thing I can really think of is that they can drag out for years because like this happened. It was filed in
Yeah.
2014.
And I remember them talking about this years ago, but and this is the first I've heard about it since then because I had completely forgotten about it. And yeah, some kind of copyright infringement thing, and like overseas, like the copyright laws are so weird between each country that I don't even try to understand any of it, honestly.
Yeah, because then you get into country laws, you get into state laws.
Yeah.
It's it's a lot.
And for our last story tonight, and this is from express.co.uk, Nintendo Switch free download release looks absolutely unmissable. Nintendo Switch fans have just found out about a new free games download release heading their way, and it looks unmissable for retro gaming enthusiasts. Um, let's see, let's move down. Capcom will be delving into their back catalog full of all-time greats for the upcoming Capcom Arcade Stadium compilation. This inbound game lets Switch players play a range of classic Capcom titles from the arcade glory days of the 80s and 90s. It's initially available as a free download and allows you to play Awesome Shmup 1943 without paying a single penny. The original platformer Ghosts and Goblins, which we just talked about, will also be available as a free add-on. In total, 32 games Capcom Arcade Classics will be playable on the Switch collection. However, you'll have to download DLC packs to play the other games. Still, 1943 and Ghosts and Goblins are incredible free downloads that you don't want to miss out on. And it says it's going to be coming out as a free download in February 2021.
That's a lot.
It is. I'm actually pretty excited about this because I like 1941
I've never
or
played it.
43. I mean, it's really fun. It was one of the games I used to play on NES back in the day. It's just one of those kind of scrolling shooters, almost like Galaga type of thing,
Yeah,
but it's set in World War II. It's really fun.
I'll have to check that out. I mean,
Axblade
oh
says,
Lord.
random gamer, my console does 10 teraflops. Wally, well, sir, my console does 12 chicken wings.
I love how Wally says he'll have to get the console from Grubhub.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it for this. It's going to have Bionic Commando, Strider, of course, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Trying to see what other games are going to. It doesn't really say what all games. Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah, there's a list at the very bottom.
Okay, 1941, 42, 43, and 44, and 19XX, Battle Circuit, Bionic Commando, Captain Commando, Carrier Air Wing, Commando, Cyberbots, Dynasty Wars, Final Fight, Forgotten Worlds, Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts, Giga Wing, Legendary Wings. That's one I want to play as Legendary Wings. Mega Twins, Pirate Ship, Higamaru, Powered Gear, Pro Gear, Section Z. That's one I'm going to be doing a review on early this next year. Senjo no Okami 2, Street Fighter 2, The World Warrior, Hyper Fighting, Strider, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Operation Thunderstorm, and Warriors of Fate. A lot of games coming out for this thing.
Yeah. That's actually really cool.
Yeah. I wonder how much the add-ons are going to be. I hope not too expensive.
Hopefully not. It says here, yes, February, so not too long to
Yeah,
wait.
2 months and it'll be here.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So do you want to go ahead and do Patreon shoutouts before we go into the main topic for tonight?
Yeah, for sure. So as always, we like to shout out our awesome patrons over at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro. We want to shout out Armez Jackson, Axblade07, Daniel Salmon, John Jekyll, aka Mixmaster, Carlos Longoria, Staff Sergeant Sketch, Randy Bailey, and Tyler Watson. Thank you guys so much, as always, for your continued support. And because you have kept us at the $50 level, we will continue to do fun commentary tracks. I know we just did basically a 2-for-1. We did Batman the Animated Series, and The Real Ghostbusters, two Christmas themed episodes of those shows. So if you're a Patreon subscriber, those are available now. And if you would like to be a part of our awesome Patreon community, head over to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro.
So, do you want to tell everybody what we're doing this evening? I mean, I know all of our regular listeners know, but any new people coming in, thank you for joining us. And we're doing something a little bit different for this show.
So yeah, we're wrapping up 2020. I think we've got one more show after this, but an idea that actually you had was to do a top 5 list of favorite games that we've played this year. Didn't have to be released in 2020 or just a game you never played before, just games
Mm-hmm.
that you've played throughout the year that you would put as a top 5. And you know I'm a sucker for a good top 5
Mm-hmm.
list.
And we got a lot of submissions too. So,
We did. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. I was blown away by the number of responses that we
yeah.
got.
And I
So,
checked Discord, I checked Twitter, I checked Facebook. I mean, we both did. Looked at this list 4 or 5 times. So if we missed anybody, we apologize. But we got so many submissions that it was hard to kind of keep up with all that we were getting. So if we missed you, we'll get it. Just let us know, and we'll get it on the next show.
yeah. So how do you want to do this? Do you want me to just go through my list
Yeah, we'll do
and then
that.
you go through yours?
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
just
And
do
then
that.
for the listeners, we can alternate. Like you
Okay.
can read a list and I'll read a list.
Okay.
Um so I had a couple of honorable mentions on mine. I did play through Sonic Mania again this year. I've talked about how much I like that game. It's one of my favorite Sonic games of all time. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, which is still giving me some difficulty. Not as much as when I was reviewing it, but still having a lot of fun doing it. It's a great looking game. The controls are tight, great weapon choices. The tracks are really cool. So I like Crash Team Racing. I had a lot of fun going through and playing Paper Mario again when I reviewed it on the show earlier this year. I hadn't
Mm-hmm.
played the original Paper Mario in several years, so getting to actually sit down and go through an RPG was a lot of fun. And it's still, I feel like it doesn't get talked about as much because Mario RPG for Super Nintendo is just so highly regarded
Mm-hmm.
that Paper Mario doesn't get talked about. And then I put Chrono Trigger. The reason why it's not is because or it's not in the actual top 5 is because I haven't beaten it yet.
Yeah. Well, that's
But I
same here.
really like doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But my number 5 is a game that you reviewed on the show, Goblin Sword,
Mm-hmm.
and you highly recommended it to me. I've had a lot of fun playing it. Still go through and play it every once in a while. Haven't beaten it yet, but it made such a good impression on me that it was to me what like a better Zelda 2,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes
Well,
sense.
it's definitely one of the best indie games I've played this year because it's such
Yep.
an addicting gameplay type. Just trying to go through and find little secret areas and getting all the little things you need to get the keys and all that kind of stuff. It's just you have to play it and experience it to understand like how addictive it is.
Yep. My number 4 is Mario 3D All Stars. I had a lot of fun going back and playing, especially Mario 64, because I hadn't played Mario 64 in quite some time. I reviewed Mario Sunshine not too long ago, and then Galaxy is, if that game had come out for the Switch with HD graphics, because people forget the Wii was still standard definition,
Yeah.
but seeing it with a little bit better graphics was really cool. I would love to see a full high definition, like a Mario, maybe like a Mario Galaxy 3 with Switch level graphics would be great. But
Yeah.
I had fun going back and playing all 3 of those games. My number 3 is Fall Guys for PlayStation 4. Have you ever played Fall Guys?
Never have.
So a racing game where you play as you get a little jelly bean avatar and you put little outfits on him and you literally race through obstacle courses.
That's
And
cool.
then say like you start with 60 characters. The first 30 to finish advance to the next round.
Mm.
And then, the next half are cut and you go through I think 3 or 4 tracks, but each have different obstacles that you have to do. So some you just have to go through like fake walls, some you have to maneuver your way through moving objects and things like that. Some are puzzle related, which is pretty cool. But my biggest frustration with Fall Guys, they did a limited edition Sonic outfit, but I didn't have the funds to get it
Oh, that
because you
sucks.
had, yeah. So I was a little disappointed by that, but it's a really fun game. Those who haven't played Fall Guys, definitely check it. I know Wally mentioned it when he sent his list. He said that it was almost on his too. So I know he knows about Fall Guys. But my number two is Super Mario 35. This game, I have a love-hate relationship with this game. I love playing it, but it's so frustrating because I get so close to winning and I can't do it.
Dude,
I don't know what it is,
I got to number
but
3 the other night. Number 3 and I died. But I didn't die because of anything anybody else did. I got a little too cocky and I ended up falling into the abyss because I misjudged a jump.
yeah, it's little moments like that or when you just run out of time.
Hmm.
It's so frustrating, but I love the format of it. I think Mario is perfect for it. I hope they do something Sonic related
Hmm.
in 2021 with this format. I think it would be great. I love Mario 35. My number one, Link's Awakening Remastered. I know it's a game that you recently reviewed.
Hmm.
It's, to me, probably the most underrated Zelda game of all time still. But the art style, the gameplay, it's as much as I love Breath of the Wild and Ocarina of Time, there's something about the format of Link to the Past
Yeah.
that is just so perfect for Zelda. So getting to play the remastered after doing Breath of the Wild, and again, I love Breath of the Wild, but it was nice to go back to that traditional top-down view, go in a dungeon,
Hmm.
find the bow and arrow or the rock's feather, get through the dungeon, fight the boss, collect the instrument, and you move on to the next one. There's something about that that's just perfect for
Yeah.
Zelda, and I love the Link's Awakening remaster.
And as no surprise, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Link's Awakening Remastered is my number one game that I
Yeah,
played this year too. Just like you said, that Link to the Past vibe, like that's my all-time favorite Zelda game is Link to the Past, and Link's Awakening is so reminiscent of that. And just being able to play it on the Switch, it's such a gorgeous game. The gameplay is just that classic top-down Zelda. It's so good. If you haven't played it, you're missing out on one of the best experiences on the Switch you can have.
yeah, for sure.
But for mine, I do have some runners up. Of course, Super Mario 35 is definitely a runner up. Tetris 99, I play a lot of. That's a runner up. But when it comes to my actual list, the best games I played this year, I start off number 5 was kind of a cheat because I started this game I think in 2018, but I didn't actually finish it till this year. But I put in more hours this year playing it to finish it. Mad Max for PS4. That game came out I think in 2016, and it a lot of people slept on it, man. And it's one of the most fun open world games I've played. Like if you like the Mad Max universe and you like that sort of Red Dead Redemption style open world sort of thing, like Grand Theft Auto open world, you really like Mad Max. Like it's post apocalyptic and just cool. You're building your car from nothing and just building up yourself, your abilities, your the way you look and like your armor, and it's so cool. And one of the best games I played this year that I actually finished. Of course, number 4 was Mega Man 11. I'm a Mega Man fan. Mega Man 11 for the Switch is so good. I highly recommend anybody, if you're a fan of side scrollers, you're a fan of Mega Man, go pick up Mega Man 11. I mean, you don't have to get it on the Switch. You can get it on PS4. I think the Xbox One has pretty much any. You can play it anywhere, and it's absolutely 100% worth it. My number 3 is, of course, you mentioned it, Goblin Sword. One of the best indie games that you can possibly get for the Switch. Like, there's no just the tight gameplay of it, and the just the whole aesthetic of the game, trying to get all the little hidden secrets and everything. It's so addicting, that game. It's ridiculous, and you just have to play it to understand. And it's not that expensive, so if you haven't played it, go check it out on the Switch store. My number two is, of course, Animal Crossing New Horizons. I put a lot of time and effort into that game this year, especially at the beginning of the pandemic. I looked at my year in review for the Nintendo Switch today, and my playtime in April and May were like 3 or 4 times what my normal play time is. So those 2 months were just nothing but Animal Crossing. And I know it's not a lot of people's cup of tea, but it's just one of those, like, it's total relaxation type of game. It's not really a game. Like, there's no real, like, tasks or anything you have. There's no bosses to fight. There's nothing to fight. It's just basically just building your island and making friends and, like, all that kind of building cool things on your island. So it's really relaxing, and that's what I liked about the game. There was no pressure to it or stress whatsoever. And of course, my number one was Link's Awakening Remastered. By far the best experience you can have on the Switch, playing a Zelda game. Like, I love Breath of the Wild, but if you're a fan of the old school Zelda games, go get Link's Awakening Remastered. Like, it is so reminiscent of Link to the Past. It's crazy.
Zelda magic at its finest.
Absolutely. And now we're going to move on to everybody else's top five list. These are all the lists that everybody sent to us. So do you want to start off with this first one here? HM, I'm not sure who that is.
That is that was my honorable mentions
Oh, okay. All right.
from my list.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll start us off. So again, thank you to everyone who submitted your list on Facebook, Twitter, Discord. Uh, Overwhelming at the number of responses that we got. So it's very much appreciated. But we're going to kick things off with the official fact checker of the Nerd Cave Retro Show, Mr. Wally Phelps. His number 5, Animal Crossing for the Switch, which you just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 is Fortnite for the PS5. So I've played a little bit of Fortnite. I know a lot of people like it, but I
Yeah.
just can't get into it.
I couldn't either. I downloaded the free version on the Switch and played it a little bit. I played for about 2 hours. I was like, this is not my thing.
Yeah, I like watching other people play it, but it's not my thing.
Yeah.
Number 3, Astro's Playroom for PS5. Number 2, Among Us for PC. And number 1, Spider-Man Miles Morales for PS5, which is a game I cannot wait to play.
Me too.
He says Among Us would be number 1 if it had in-game voice chat, easier ways to join lobbies, and penalties for people who leave the game. And Fall Guys was almost there too.
Not bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, I've yet to play Among Us, so I'm really interested to play that over the next couple days.
Same.
The next one is from Axeblade07. His number 5 is Immortals Phoenix Rising. Number 2, Zelda Link's Awakening. Yeah, it's got to be on everybody's list. 3, Astro's Playroom. 2, Ghosts of Tsushima. That was another one that I was interested in playing. I watched a lot of Twitch streams, especially our good friend Steffi Lou Who played it on her Twitch stream for a while. And of course, number 1, Spider-Man Miles Morales. That one seems to be on a lot of people's lists this year.
Yep. And then our next list comes to us from Atlas. His is no specific order. He said no specific order. I play a lot of games. These were just the heavy hitters for me this year. Ghosts of Tsushima, which you just mentioned, Genshin Impact, Doom Eternal, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, and Animal Crossing New Horizons. And he said Beat Saber is really close to hours logged, but VR can be rough.
Yeah, I'd love to try out some VR stuff because I know that What's the one that Facebook has? Their VR thing. What is it called?
I know what you're thinking of, but
Yeah,
I'm
they've
not sure.
they've got a new version coming out soon that I wouldn't mind playing. I just don't like being in that Facebook ecosystem. That just seems weird
Yeah,
to me.
yeah.
Also, this is from our community manager over at Discord, and we're going to have on the show soon for our community spotlight section coming up early next year. Bethany Fox, let's see, says Warframe. I put the most time into this year, like 300 or 400 hours over a few months. Yeah, I tried to play Warframe for a bit, but I did not get into it. It was too much going on for my taste. Spots 1 and 2. Let's see. Well, let's just say number 4. He said Diablo 3. Yes, I love Diablo 3. Don't sleep on Diablo 3 if you like top-down dungeon crawlers. Holy crap, that's the creme de la creme is Diablo 3. Number 3, Warframe. 2, Unravel, and 1, Transistor. Never heard of those two. It says spots 1 and 2 were memorable because they're great games with characters you can really connect with and is an emotional roller coaster. I haven't heard of those, so I'm going to have to check those out and see what those are.
Yeah, I haven't heard of those either. Next up, we have Jacob Craig, your co-host over on the Open Micers podcast. His number 5 is UFC 4. His number 4, Resident Evil 3 remake. 3, Resident Evil Biohazard. 2, Detroit Becomes Human. And number 1, The Last of Us Part 2. I need to play The Last of Us
Yeah,
games.
same here. Oculus is what it was. Wally, our real-time fact checker in the chat room with Oculus. That's the word I couldn't think of.
Shout out to Wally.
Yeah, shout out to Wally. Yeah, but if you haven't listened to the Open Micers podcast, Jacob Craig is, of course, my co-host over there, and we did our top 5 list earlier today, which will be out at the very end of the year at Open Micers on Twitter. The next one is Josh Shinnework. I hope I said that correctly.
Yep, that is. He's a friend of mine.
Okay. Number 5, Pokemon Sword and Shield. That's your territory right there.
I haven't played those yet.
Yeah, I haven't played any of the Pokemon games. 4, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. 3, Super Mario 64 on Switch. 2, Spider-Man Miles Morales. And 1, Spider-Man Remastered. Is that the PS4 Spider-Man that they put out on PS5 that's remastered?
I believe so.
Okay.
Still, something I've been seeing is pretty consistent is Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're great game. I mean, Spider-Man's great. I can't wait to play Miles Morales.
Yeah. I'm willing to bet Miles Morales is going to make a cameo in Spider-Man 3.
Oh, I guarantee it.
Yep. Next up, we have Armez Jackson, one of our Patreon supporters. Number 5, The Mummy Demastered for the Switch. Number 4, Heavy Burger for the Switch. I've never heard of that one.
I had a heavy burger yesterday.
I could go for a heavy burger right now, actually. Number 3, Axiom Verge for the Switch. 2, Spider-Man for the PS4. And number 1, Hollow Knight for the Switch.
It seems like Spider-Man's going to be the average favorite for everybody for this year.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a game that came out this year, it's still I think I played. Was it last year that I played it? Yeah, it was 2019 when I played it that summer.
Wally said that. Go ahead.
I picked it up for. I remember I picked it up for $20 off of Amazon. That's when I got it.
Wally said that Spider-Man Remastered is the PS4 game, ports of the PS5. He said it looks and plays great.
Let's see, Brandon Rutledge, one of our good friends, who was he was a part of the movie thing, the
Defending Bad Movies.
Yeah, Defending Bad Movies last year, which you can listen to on the Derek Diamond podcast. Go back through the archives. He said number 5 was Secret of Mana. One of your favorites. 4, Kingdom Hearts 3. I never played any of the Kingdom Hearts game. I know a lot of people that love those games. Like Steffi loves the Kingdom Hearts games.
I haven't played any of the spin-offs, but 1 and 2 are great games. I want to play the third one.
Let's see. Number 3, Castlevania Bloodlines. That's a really good game. 2, Street Fighter V Champion Edition. And number 1, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
I can't remember if I played Smash Brothers. I'm sure I did, but
Have you played it at all this year?
that's what I'm trying to think. I might have early in the year,
Yeah.
but I haven't played it in quite some time. But it's a great game. They just announced that Sephiroth from Final Fantasy is going to be a new character. I'm waiting for them to announce Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, it's coming. You know it is.
Yeah, what they need to do is they need to announce that, and then also for the new It's About Time game coming to
Mhm.
the Switch,
Yeah.
because that's what I'm waiting on. Like, I want to play that game, but I'm gonna wait for it to come out on the Switch.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Carlos Longoria. Number 5, Call of Duty Mobile. Number 4, Return to Arkham City. 3, Sega Genesis Classics. Number 2, Streets of Rage 4. And number 1, Super Mario 35.
I've been wanting to get that Streets of Rage 4 for a while. I haven't pulled the trigger
Yeah,
on that yet.
yeah.
Because the Streets of Rage games are great. I actually did a stream of Final Fight last Sunday. If you didn't get to join, I might play it again. But I'd love to do Streets of Rage too. Streets of Rage 2 to be exact, because those are really, that was Sega's answer to Final Fight on the Genesis.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another good friend of the show, Tyler Watson. Number 5, Pokemon Sword. The Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra DLC really revived this game for me. The Galarian Star Tournament you earn from completing the Crown Tundra is a lot of fun, as it lets you team up with other characters in the game, including the gym leaders, and the more you complete it, the more partners you unlock.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Let's see, Fallout 4 Game of the Year edition. A few years late on this one, but it was so much fun to hop back into Fallout. He built a murder bot companion, got his suit of power armor and favorite gun, and now I bestride the Commonwealth as a Colossus. Well, all right. Persona 5, number 3, Persona 5 Royal. An update to one of his favorite entries in the favorite JRPG series. Can't say enough good things about the quality of life updates given, throwing the new content added, and that awesome acid jazz soundtrack, and I gladly paid for it again. Number 2, Animal Crossing New Horizons. The game just happened to hit at the right time. Absolutely. It was the balm a lot of us needed at the start of the pandemic, and it has been a way that some people have been able to interact virtually with each other. He's been playing since the GameCube and had a great time with each one. His wife and I have been building up their shared island, and it's brought them a lot of joy. And same as me, they've fallen off the last few months, but she managed to bring them up to a 5-star island a month ago. Number 1, Ghost of Tsushima. This sums it up. The story, the visuals, the music, the characters, the combat. Everything is just a chef's kiss. There's a reason why games that release late in a console's life are some of the best. They're able to draw out its full potential and deliver a mind-blowing experience. He hasn't finished the game yet. Got sidetracked with Fallout 4, but plans to get back to it soon. I'm going to have to try Ghost of Tsushima, because that was, like I said, I watched a lot of gameplay of it on Twitch streams, and it looks really good. Like, it's a really beautiful game.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, we have Death Tanuki. Love that name. Number 5 is Abzu. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
Number 4 is Mario 35. Number 3, another game we mentioned earlier, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Ghost of Tsushima. And number 1, Hades.
Yeah, the
Haven't heard of that one either.
Hades is, I've been hearing a lot of good things about that. It's like a roguelike type of game, but everybody says it takes that genre and just makes it better. And it's very, very addicting. So I'm going to give it a try, but it'll be early next year before I get it. I got a couple other things I want to play first. And hopefully it's already a cheap game, because it's an indie title. I think it's roughly about $10 or so, I think. 10, $15, but I'm going to play it soon, because there's a lot of talk about that game, and people are just raving about it.
Nice.
And for our last one here, this comes from at MushmouthTB, aka Touch Biloxi. Very funny guy who sponsored the Open Micers podcast, had him on a few times, and he said these are the games that gave him his sexual awakening for the year. And I'm not going to
That good,
read
huh?
what he wrote about most of these games, so I'll just read his list. But if you want to read what he said, go over to the Nerd Cave Retro Twitter. Dude is hilarious. Let's see. Number 5, he had Crash Bandicoot, It's About Time. Number 4, Cyberpunk 2077. That's a weird one to put on here because from what I hear, that game is a janky mess right now,
Yeah.
wherever it is.
We haven't really talked about that game and
Yeah,
all the issues that it's been having.
yeah. That I've heard nothing but horror stories about that game so far. I think it was just way underbaked when they released it, and
Yep.
just way too many things wrong with it. We got Axblade and Wally said it. I think Wally said it plays great on Stadia, but I've heard that too from a lot of people that it does play really well on Stadia, which is weird. So if you're gonna play it, that's the place. Unless you have a really high-end PC, get the PC version or play it on Stadia, not on the consoles. So that's just weird to me. Number 3, Fall Guys. Number 2,
Yep.
Among Us, and number 1, which this is pretty cool. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. I was wanting to get that remaster and completely forgot about it until he put it on his list.
Yeah, I did too. And I love the soundtrack
Yeah,
especially from those games. Like that those games were what, early 2000s
yeah.
or late 90s?
I think
Let's see.
Tony Hawk 1, I think, was on the PlayStation 1. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure it was the
Let's see.
PlayStation 1.
Pro Skater 2 was released in September of 2000. And then where was the first one? Da, 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 da. 99.
Okay, so
Yeah,
yeah,
late 90s.
I think you could get it on the Nintendo 64 too
Yeah.
at the time. Yeah, I
Those were
loved
fun games to play.
so good. Those are the quintessential skating games. Were those?
Yeah, for sure. And there was one of those games, or really both of them, that you always knew a couple of people who would play it.
Oh yeah. We used
Like even if you didn't, you know, like people at school would be like, "Oh man, you got to try this Tony Hawk game. It's so good."
Yeah, at the time I was roommates with a professional skater, and because we worked together, and he had a PlayStation 1, and then he got the PlayStation 2. But I remember we on the weekends we had other friends that lived in the apartment complex too, and we had other friends that would come over. We would just have a bunch of people in the apartment, like on a Friday or Saturday night, just all of us taking turns playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, 2, all those early Pro Skater games. And man, we had such a good time playing those games. And
Yeah,
then
it's definitely one of those party games.
I remember it was the PlayStation 2. I think it might have been Tony Hawk 2, where you could put in the cheat code where you didn't have to balance anymore when you did a rail slide. So you would just rack up like billions of points just
Yep.
doing rail slides. That was awesome.
Yeah, I remember that too. Such fun games.
So good. I'm gonna have to go back and get those because I can't believe I completely forgot that those remasters were out.
We should do sometime next year. One of us review the first one, and then the other review the second one.
I'm down for that.
I think
I'm
it'd be
totally
fun.
down with that.
Be fun to go back and play those again.
But like I said, if we missed anybody, we had so many submissions. If we missed anybody, I completely apologize. Just let us know, and we'll get back. We'll get you on the next episode. But like I said, we between Discord, Twitter, Facebook, and the email we had a lot of submissions and to keep up with. I had no clue we were going to get this many submissions in for this show. But thank you guys. Thank you so much for giving us your top 5 list, because I know Derek is a top 5 list kind of guy.
you gave me my fix
Yeah.
of top 5. So, no, it's and I think all joking aside, I think top 5 lists make for really good discussion
Oh yeah.
with people. You know, it's like the morning show I did during the summer when the pandemic was at its worst. It made for good conversation, and I interacted with people that I normally wouldn't have if not for doing the top 5
Yeah.
shows. So they're good conversation starters. I mean, there's we can debate whether or not, oh, this should be number 1 or it should be down to number 3 or number 4.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's tough to narrow them down. So,
Yeah. I
really, really fun stuff.
It took me a couple days to really narrow down my list because I played a lot of stuff this year, and I think it really helped too that with the submissions that it didn't have to be something that came out this year, just something that
Yeah.
you played this year. And I
Yeah.
think this was a good year for video games because, because of the lockdown and everything, a lot of games got played this year.
Yeah, and it gave everybody a chance also to kind of go back and
Hmm.
play older games that they may not have otherwise played where things back at normal. So,
Yeah.
for sure.
But before we go this evening, is there anything you would like to throw out there before we leave this evening?
Yes, so this upcoming Monday, you, myself, and Mr. Wally Phelps will be doing another roundtable edition of the Derek Diamond Experience, where we're talking about my all-time favorite movie, one of the greatest movies ever made, The Empire Strikes Back. We're going to end 2020 on a good note by talking about one of the greatest movies ever made. So
Yes.
that will be out New Year's Eve. It'll be out on December 31st. So be sure to check that out on the Derek Diamond Experience podcast. Got some good things in the works for early 2021 that I will reveal if they come to fruition. So if you want to stay up to date on that, just follow me on social media at D Diamond Podcast.
And speaking of the roundtable, we're gonna do our episode. We got to figure out when we're gonna do it. Our Mandalorian season 2 breakdown
Yep.
because holy crap,
There's a lot to digest. And I'm
dude.
glad we didn't do it immediately
Yeah.
after because I'm going to need a minute.
I'm still digesting it, man. I watched it the finale again last night, and there's a few things to nitpick about it as far as some of the effects go. I'm not going to give any spoilers to anybody who hasn't seen it, but there's a few effects things that could have been a little better. But I mean, it's so good you don't care. That it's like you're just so pulled into the moment. Like it was that finale was a master stroke.
Without spoiling it, it was up there with the ending of Rogue One with Darth Vader as one of the best sequences in the entire franchise's history.
Everything great about Star Wars happens in a hallway.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're really not wrong. But I want to go back and honestly watch some of the earlier episodes because I remember
Yeah.
the first episode was really good with Timothy Olyphant as Cobb Vanth.
Yep.
I love that episode.
I'm
It's still one
definitely.
of the best episodes of the season.
I just want to go back and watch the whole series over again and just watch it as one big arc. You know.
Yep.
But yeah,
Same.
if you haven't watched it yet, oh my god, I had to talk one of my longest friends of mine. We have a group text between him and my brother because we all kind of grew up together. He was me and my brother are 5 years apart, and he's in between us. So he was a couple years older than me, a couple years below my brother, but we all kind of grew up as friends, and we have to this day we have a group text, and I had sent them a meme from Mandalorian, and they were both like, I haven't watched it yet. Is it worth watching? And I was like, it's the best Star Wars content since the original movies. Like, you can't not watch it. You have to. And he started, my buddy Dave started watching it the other night. He's like, when does this take place? I said, it was 5 years after Return of the Jedi. And he was like, okay, cool. So he's watching it as we speak, getting through. I don't know if my brother started it yet, but I know he's going to soon.
Yeah, and this Sunday I'll be recording an episode of my show discussing The Mandalorian as well with our mutual friend Mr. Steve Wise. So
Yes.
we'll have if you like Star Wars, you're going to enjoy both this show and my solo show over the next couple of weeks.
So there's a lot of Star Wars content coming. between our
Yep.
two shows. I
It'll be
think
fun.
that's about it. Go check out the Open Micers podcast at Open Micers on Twitter and Open Micers podcast on Facebook. We've had a lot of good interviews lately. One of ours blew up a few weeks ago on YouTube. It's got over 1,000 views. We talked to a Maxim model, and that one went over 1,000 views. So I'm like, okay, doing something right. And
Yeah.
well, just last week we talked to Howard Bloom. That one's coming out tomorrow, I think. It's already out on YouTube, but the audio's coming out tomorrow. He's a theoretical physicist who turned out to be a publicist for like Michael Jackson and Styx, AC/DC, all kind of like Billy Joel, like people like that back in the 80s. So go check that interview out. It wasn't even an interview. I asked him one question and the dude just went off for like 45 minutes. I was like, that was the easiest show I ever did. So go check that one out when it comes out. Like I said, at Open Micers on Twitter. So anything else before we leave the scene? Thank you guys for joining us in the chat room too. You guys are awesome. So
No, I think I'm good.
awesome. Let's go ahead and play our music here. If you'd like to email us, you can email us at nerdcaveretro@gmail.com. We're at nerdcaveretro.com. We're on Instagram and Twitter at nerdcaveretro, and individually at jfantastic and at Derek_Diamond. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdcaveretro. And of course, we're on Patreon at patreon.com/nerdcaveretro, where you can go throw us a couple of bucks a month. And if you keep us above that $50 level, we will continue to do the commentary tracks every month. And don't miss this month's, where we did a Christmas episodes of Batman the Animated Series and the Real Ghostbusters. And if you can't do that, can't throw us a couple of bucks a month, I know times are tough right now, go leave us a review wherever you're listening to this podcast. So let's go ahead and get out of here. Derek, tell them what it's all about.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Monkey!
That was a fun episode.
Love me some top 5 lists.
Yeah, happy holidays, Axe Blade. Thanks for joining us tonight. And
Yeah,
Wally,
for
I know
sure.
Wally's still in there somewhere too. But I'm gonna go ahead and end. Yeah, Axe Blade said, Derek, love the sweater.
Oh, thanks, Axblade.
But I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream because I need to ask you about an upcoming show early in the year. But thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Happy holidays.